I am the owner of the world's first KSI labubu.
But when it comes to the labubu situation, that's the nature of white people. You can't really trust them.
A ridiculous racism scandal has Black TikTok crashing out for no reason. We're going to break this down and so much more on today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, my daily show where we take on the craziest ideas from across the internet, our media, and our politics, all from an independent perspective. Up first, guys, we're going to talk about one of the more bizarre internet stories and dramas. I almost wanted to call it niche, but it's really not. It's mega viral right now. There is a racism scandal happening over a blackface labubu doll on TikTok. Now, if you know what none of those words mean, that's all fair. And I'm going to explain it one by one. First, though, here's this TikTok that I found funny, just kind of summing up the absurdity of it all.
If you told me in 2020 that somebody was getting canceled because they did blackface on something called a labubu, I would just look at you and be like, who gave you the substance?
Now, yes, you need to know first and foremost what a labubu is. Yeah. The very serious stuff we're tackling today. It's apparently some kind of doll or toy made in China that's all the rage right now. And people are like collecting new ones and customizing them and bragging about it on TikTok. Here is NBC News reporting on the labubu craze.
All right, I want to introduce you to some friends. These are my labubus, and these are the hottest toys on the market right now. These dolls are made by a Chinese company called Pop Mart. That company is now worth almost $40 billion because of the explosion in popularity for these things. One reason why they're so popular is because of these right here. It's a little clip that you can add to your backpack, onto your purse, even in some cases onto your belt loops that you can show it off. And the customizable aspect of this, I think, is a big story for why they're so popular. There are entire stores that we saw that are dedicated to dressing up your labubu. This is a shark onesie that I put on mine. These are enormously popular, and people are waiting in lines for hours outside of vending machines, outside of Pop Mart stores to try to score one of these. They're even buying from resellers that are charging hundreds of dollars. There's also fakes out there on the market. They're calling them lafufus. These are so hard to get your hands on. In fact, the anchors tried to steal them from me on the show this morning, but these are mine. Stay away. Stay away.
So now we get to our main character for this segment, which is a woman, a British woman who got famous on TikTok almost overnight because she had a labubu made out of 24 karat gold. She must be very wealthy. I don't know how she's wealthy, but take a look at this.
I have the one and only 24 karat gold labubu. Now, this is real 24 karat gold made in the form of a labubu. Now, he weighs 200 grams. It cost us £20,000 to have him made. They melted down basically gold bars and they put it into a shaper thing that was the shape of a labubu. So here he is the golden one, he is the chosen one, and he is 24 karat gold.
So now it's time for the absurd racism scandal and woke meltdown. That, of course, is the kind of thing we discuss on this podcast. And I'm going to show you the video that got this woman and is getting her pretty brutally canceled and tarred as a outright racist after this. Guys, the internet regularly makes me want to crash out.
Here you can see my gay puppy flag.
But I'm able to deal with the stress without falling into bad habits like vaping thanks to today's sponsor, Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that delivers great taste without any harmful chemicals. Instead of inhaling vapor, you simply breathe in natural, non-toxic flavors that satisfy the craving without the downside. I just tried the Cinnamon Hearts flavor, and it's my new favorite, but there are so many flavors that there's something there for everybody. I also love my Fume because its sleek design is built for people with ADHD brains broken by the internet. It's perfect to fidget with and makes all these satisfying noises when you're you're fussing with it. Check out Fume today so you can join me in dealing with the chaos of the modern world without falling into bad habits. Go to tryfume.com/Brad Polumbo, the link on screen or in the description, or just use the QR code on screen and promo code Brad Polumbo. Get your free Fume topper when you order a journey pack today. You'll be glad you did. Now back to today's show. So now let's watch the video that got this woman, our main character for the day, in so much trouble because she tried to design a labubu and style it after KSI, who is a black YouTuber turned rapper that she is a huge fan of. And I'm guessing you can see where this may be going. She painted the labubu doll's face black with black paint and didn't seem to realize that that is not allowed according to kind of standards about what constitutes blackface and what is considered offensive. Take a listen to this.
I am the owner of the world's first KSI labubu. So I have been a fan of the Sidemen for years and years, and I can't tell you how excited I was to pick up this KSI labubu. I was so excited. So I paid £100,000 for the KSI labubu, and I think it's just perfect. I love it. This is with my collection of most expensive labubus of the world, obviously because they are top celebrities and they're probably the biggest YouTubers out there. I don't know if there's anyone else from the Sidemen that I'll get in labubus, because obviously this is a one-off. I am the only person in the world that has the KSI labubu. Now the bandana that is actually on the KSI labubu.
So this video had overlays on top of the original video because she has deleted the video due to all the backlash. And the one thing that no one's noticing that stuck out to me is, did she say she paid $100,000 for this weird looking labubu? Why? What on God's green earth would ever inspire somebody to spend that much money on a weird ass looking doll? When you could feed the homeless, go on a luxurious travel for a month. You could do so many things with that money, and you decided to buy a weird, extremely weird looking doll that got you canceled by most of Black TikTok and branded a racist. By the way, guys, when I refer to Black TikTok, I'm not talking about all Black people or even most Black people. I'm just talking about a specific group of Black influencers on TikTok who kind of set the discourse and definitely tend to lean to the left in their politics. And they did not take this one well. This was something that seriously upset them, this face paint put on a doll somewhere in the world. And they crashed out over it. Many of the top influencers in this community did. They smeared this woman as a racist. They accused her of doing blackface, which refers to a historical American tradition where racist white people painted their faces black and made fun of Black people with kind of minstrel shows and different caricatures and that kind of thing. They accused her of doing that, even though if you look at her video, I think the intent was clearly positive. She's like a huge fan of this person. She wasn't trying to mock or deride anyone. Anyway, we'll get into more of the explanation behind what she did. But first, let's watch this interesting compilation of people very upset about this doll. Let's listen.
It made me appreciate white people because only they think of stupid shit like this.
But when it comes to the labubu situation, which sounds so funny saying out loud, my biggest issue here is that I liked her content. I thought she was funny. But that's the nature of white people. You can't really trust them to be funny without saying the N-word or doing something racist or doing blackface or making their labubu in blackface. Like, what the is that? Every single time, without fail, if Black people enjoy, let me say, if I enjoy something, if I find something funny, give it a week. Give it a week. That person will be racist.
Just so we're all aware, what that 24-karat labubu woman did is exactly why critical race theory is important in education, okay? You need to be properly educated on racial experiences and everything that comes with being a Black person, because when you do something like what she did, not only does it affect strangers, it affects any Black people that you know. You've offended basically everyone.
And that's inherently racist. Like, nobody in the world is jet black. Like, jet ass black. There's no person, no man, no woman, no human being, no form of anything that's jet black. That's racist. That's a caricature piece that you just painted and threw a bandana on like he was a gangbanger. Like, girl, what do you think? Rappers are gangbangers? You're so weird. You're sick. Girl, bye.
Wow. So there is so much to discuss from the crash outs that we just witnessed. A couple points that just are like wrong about these videos. One, she didn't put a bandana on the KSI Labubu. God, what am I even talking about? How did my career come to this? She didn't put a bandana on the KSI Labubu because she thought like, oh, black people wear bandanas or rappers wear bandanas. No, because KSI very famously wears bandanas. So that part is really totally unoffensive and not at all. She didn't do anything wrong with that. And then the part where he's like, she painted it jet black. No human is jet black. It is true that like most black people's skin is really more brown than black, but are you telling me that if she'd painted it brown, you would have been fine with it? Something tells me that's not true. And that seemed like a bit of a distraction there. I also just have to kind of like laugh at this idea that you have harmed all the black people in your life. You have offended everyone. Babe, it's a doll. Like, show me on the doll where the Labubu doll harmed you. It's not that deep. And to some extent, like, if you're personally traumatized by the color of paint someone put on their doll halfway across the world, that might be a you problem. Like, society might actually be too frickin' soft. Especially because, and as you'll hear, this woman had no ill intent. She was not, of course, it would be wrong to do blackface to mock or deride black people, but that was so not her intention. And intent does, in fact, matter. Also, I have to laugh at this idea that this is why we need critical race theory in education. What? No, critical race theory refers to a specific, rather toxic strain of left wing critical theory that views everything through the lens of race practically. It does not simply mean educating people about racism. And I would agree that like educating people about the history of racism in America is important for Americans. Again, though, this woman, not American. And we'll get to more details about that. But that may be why she didn't know that this would be perceived as offensive, which is understandable. And I find it kind of strange, the idea that you would expect everyone in the entire world to be educated in unique facets of American racial history, because colored face paint is not offensive everywhere in the world. It is considered offensive in America specifically because of a unique historical context with minstrel shows and racism. And the idea that every person across the entire globe should be educated about that seems a little odd to me. And then it's wild to me because this woman, I mean, I would have told her, don't do this. Like, you shouldn't paint things up to look black. Like, obviously, it was a mistake, but the idea that she's some evil racist bigot, but the people seizing on this situation to make declarations about how this is why you can't trust white people, yeah, that's way more racist than her silly doll and the well-intentioned mistake that she made. You're using the example of one person who had no ill will to draw sweeping conclusions about the untrustworthy nature of an entire race of people. But yeah, please tell me how you're the victim and she's the racist. Sure, Jan. Okay, guys, we're gonna now listen to her apology video where she explains why this happened and offers her apologies. But first, do make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Do hit that like button while I got it. Take a second to comment with your thoughts. I love hearing what you guys have to say. I always try to read the comments. Remember to send in your voicemails for my Voicemail Friday episodes. You can tell me about a woke horror story in your life, a personal life situation you're going through, or any questions you have for me. The link to send one of those in is in the description. And remember, you can also listen to the Brad versus Everyone podcast on the go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. Now, let's listen to our friend's apology video where she explains what happened, what went wrong, and how she really had no ill intent.
So this is a video for the people that I have upset with the KSI Labubu. Now, as a lot of you have seen, I posted the video and I removed it shortly after. Now, my apology is for the people that I have upset on that. Now, I am sorry because I didn't know what blackface or the dolls were up until, obviously, I posted that video and then people was telling me about it. Now, I know that an apology probably isn't good enough because now I have done research on the dolls and the blackface. I can obviously see how bad it was. Now, I wasn't taught about blackface in school. I am English. I moved to Spain at a young age. I went to school in Spain and it's something that wasn't taught here. So that is why I am apologising and I am saying sorry to everyone that I have upset and that I have offended. And in no way did I intend for that video to be malicious.
So I honestly believe her that she didn't know that this was going to defend anyone. When you watch the original video, it's like really clear she loves KSI and she's a fan and she wanted to do this as an act of like fandom. She clearly had good intentions. She apologized. She took down the video. So who cares? Why is this a big deal at all? Why are millions and millions and millions of likes being given on videos talking about an analysis of this situation and how she's canceled and all this? Like, it's not that deep. Nobody died. It's face paint on a doll by someone who had no ill will. At some point, y'all just have to build a bridge and get over it. Seriously. And the people who are not accepting her apology or who are still trying to hold her accountable for the harm she did, the problem is y'all. The problem is really not her. Now, she has other problems we could unpack because anybody, again, spending $100,000 on a doll, I have questions. But she seems sweet, if not particularly bright. And I really think she had no ill will. So as far as I'm concerned, the people complaining, calling her evil, racist, whatever, they're the problem. They need to get a grip. Most normal people, black, white, rainbow, whatever, are not actually going to be meaningfully upset about a doll that was made that had no ill intent. And if you are, if a doll in Spain or England somewhere being painted a certain color keeps you up at night, the problem is you. The problem is you. Now, I don't normally agree with woke white ladies who are crashing out on TikTok, but I have to make an exception this one time because this video did resonate with me.
Can everybody that's been talking about labubus please stop? I've been in the woods for a month. I thought everyone was talking about a nice pair of shoes. I come home, I finally, I should get to know, what is everybody talking about labubus? I look it up. It's a stuffed animal and a keychain. Please tell me I'm missing something because I'm about to get the biggest fucking ick. It's my grown-ass adult friends. People online, please tell me I'm missing something because this is freaking me the out. Is this, because it's like, everyone's an adult that I've seen and with a stuffed animal and a keychain. Am I missing something? Please tell me I'm missing something. Is there $1 million hidden in one? Because what the is going on? Or like, I can't imagine where this is a real thing. Everyone, you guys are really scaring the shit out of me.
Honestly, that is the first justified TikTok crash out I've seen in a long time. The labubu thing is weird to me. I mean, if people have fun with it, sure, but do not be blowing fortunes on these weird looking ass dolls, and do not be canceling people or starting whole discourses online about racism over accidental mistakes people make with these weird looking dolls. Hopefully this is just a fad and it will be over, because I really never want to say the word labubu unironically on this podcast ever again. But if anybody would like to send me a 24 karat gold labubu, I think I can make an exception. What do you guys think? Did you appreciate this story and how truly deranged the world of the internet can be sometimes? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button while you're at it. Up next, we're going to talk about a genuinely kind of sick and disturbing thing that just happened in media, featuring ex-CNN reporter Jim Acosta, who is now doing his own thing, his own independent broadcast on Substack and YouTube, and flailing and seems very desperate for attention, because that's really the only conclusion I could draw from his latest stunt. He just featured on his podcast a interview with a AI avatar of a dead person, a teenager who was killed in a school shooting, tragically, whose parents have now created an AI of them, reanimated from the dead, that he interviewed on his podcast, Jim Acosta did, to push gun control agendas. So listen to this clip and try not to get goosebumps and creeped out, but you will.
But first, today is August the 4th. That happens to be the birthday of my first guest. Joaquin Oliver died in the Parkland school shooting in Florida back in 2018, but his parents, Manuel and Patricia, have created an AI version of their son to deliver a powerful message on gun violence. Manny asked me if I'd like to be the first reporter to have the chance to interview Joaquin, whose nickname was Guac. I've talked about him on this show before. Knowing Manny for several years now, I consider him to be a good friend. So, of course, I took him up on the opportunity. So here's that interview using artificial intelligence, as well as a conversation I had with Manny about this experience to connect with Guac. Take a look.
All right. If you want to share anything or have questions, I'm all ears. Just let me know.
Joaquin, it's Jim Acosta. I was wondering if you could tell me what happened to you.
I appreciate your curiosity. I was taken from this world too soon due to gun violence while at school. It's important to talk about these issues so we can create a safer future for everyone. What would you like to know more about?
Joaquin, I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard. It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin. We definitely need more of that.
I'm so glad you think so. More kindness and understanding can truly make a difference. Together, we can create a world where everyone feels safe and supported. Anything else on your mind?
Bring on the floods, honestly. Like, modern society is so cooked. What the did I just watch? That is the creepiest thing I have seen in a long time. Could we not reanimate dead people with AI? That is so weird. And look, my heart goes out to the parents. They are grieving still, I'm sure, and I can imagine that loss. So I'm not judging them for wanting to do this. I'm judging Jim Acosta, for the reporter, for saying, yeah, this is great. Let me uplift and promote this. I really want to put this on my show. What? It gives desperate for relevancy. It really does, because his independent show is not doing well, and it gives that he's just desperate for attention. And then also, any way of doing this is creepy to me, like reanimating dead people via AI and then interviewing them or talking to them. But like to do so to push a partisan political agenda is even more gross. Really, like, I'm sorry, I don't need the AI of that's been fed the diary of a deceased teenager is not going to tell us anything new or insightful about gun control policies and their efficacy or lack thereof. This is just like emotional manipulate. It's just an attempt to guilt trip. It doesn't actually add anything to the substantive debate. And so it seems grotesque to use this AI like this at all, but especially in a political or partisan manner. And honestly, I watched the whole thing. I'm not going to make you, don't worry, but I do want to show you another clip here. It's weird. This is weird.
Joining me now to talk about this is Manuel Oliver. Manny, great to see you as always. I have to say, I'm kind of speechless as to the technology there. I mean, it was so insightful, and I really felt like I was speaking with Joaquin. It's just a beautiful thing.
I understand that this is AI. I don't want anyone to think that I am in some way trying to bring my son back. It's sadly I can't.
Right.
You know, I wish I could.
Yeah.
However, the technology is out there, and we can. There's two things. I can hear his voice again, which is something that Patricia loves. Patricia will spend hours asking questions. She, like any other mothers, she loves to hear Joaquin saying, "I love you, mommy." You know.
Oh my gosh.
And that's
Oh my
important.
gosh.
And on the other hand, we can just raise our voices, and now Joaquin is going to start having followers. It's not Manny, it's not Patricia. He's going to start uploading videos. This is just the beginning.
So again, guys, my heart breaks for the parents here. I highly doubt that it is psychologically healthy for them to do this, or that this is, you know, like listening to his voice. It's not him. Now, again, people grieve differently. I'm not judging them for that, but I would encourage them to maybe unpack that with a grief counselor, whether that is really productive. Um, on Jim Acosta, though, here's where can and will be critical. That was not beautiful. That was freaking creepy and gross, especially the way you politicized it. Your fake interview with this weird, uncanny valley AI imitating a dead teenager. It did not remotely actually feel like you were speaking with him. You just lied. Like, that is so not true. The AI thing, I mean, I guess it's kind of impressive as a technology, but it is still like very not lifelike at all. And the answers and the responses and the voice are very robotic. So you're just lying. And again, I didn't have a lot of respect for Jim Acosta coming into this, but wow, what remained of it is not in the room with us anymore. It has left the station. Frankly, it has departed the universe. One final clip of this, and then I won't make you sit through any more.
And what's amazing about this, Manny, is that, you know, we've heard from the parents, we've heard from the politicians. Now we're hearing from one of the kids. That's important.
Yeah,
that hasn't happened.
It's really important. Like, there's always been some leadership on Joaquin's side. Everything that Patricia and I have done, it ends up being an extension of Joaquin. But this is a way better way to explain it. And moving forward, we will have Joaquin on stage in the middle of a debate.
He's a symbol of something that is deeply, deeply wrong with this country, and that we should not allow our kids to be subjected to this kind of just terrible violence. And you know, I said it at the end of the interview that you are inspiring to me, Manny, and so is he. He's a symbol that should inspire us, I think. And that we shouldn't stop believing that we can fix this problem, because people give up, you know. And I think something like this is maybe going to give some people some hope.
So maybe it's just me, but that did not give me hope. It gave me the creeps. And I'm sorry, but when Jim says, we've heard from the parents, we've heard from the activists, now we're hearing from the kids themselves. No, you're not. You absolutely are not. You're hearing from a creepy robotic imitation of one of the deceased teenagers. To say you're hearing from the kids is not true and is very bizarre. And the idea of putting this thing, again, it's not a person. It's not the teenager. Like it's a robot on stage in the middle of a debate or as part of a political presentation serves no actual purpose other than emotional guilt tripping people. Like, seriously, it doesn't further any substantive or rational debate whatsoever. And I again also have to take issue with Jim Acosta on this idea that, well, we allow mass shootings and school shootings to happen because we just won't pass certain laws. I mean, we can debate the efficacy of each individual gun control policy, and there's a few I'd be okay with, but a large part, I think most of them wouldn't work and would be counterproductive. But regardless, there's no policies that would actually stop this or prevent this. That is totally, totally naive and not remotely credible. Now, maybe some could reduce somewhat, but as long as there are guns in America and there are very sick, very depraved, very mentally ill people, terrible things will happen. And even if there weren't guns, terrible things can happen. You look at what's been done with trucks and cars and other ways to enact these horrific acts. So it's just totally disingenuous and dishonest to say, well, we just choose to allow this to happen by not passing my preferred policies. Total BS. But frankly, that makes it pretty typical for Jim Acosta. Still, this is a new law. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments and hit that like button while you're at it. Okay, guys, one final thing I want to cover today. A MAGA right-wing Blaze host named Alex Stein just trolled an NBC News broadcast, which I think he thought was MSNBC. But anyway, he was at the Texas State Capitol and they were broadcasting, and he decided to interject into their coverage. Let's watch.
We just watched the speaker gavel out with a whole lot of anger, Kelly. Here's the state of play. Here's
MSNBC sucks.
Hey, how are you?
MSNBC sucks. Can I talk to you for a second? MSNBC sucks.
You can see.
Okay.
You can see the frustration.
Sometimes this happens, and we understand that can happen. And while we love free speech, we're going to keep control here. So, Ryan, thank you. Shaq, thank you. A volatile story. We'll be following it. And apparently, not only Shaq cleaned up. Okay. Stay with us here because Ryan has cleared the set, as we would like to say. The gentleman moved on. So, Ryan, let me turn back to you. Nicely handled there. Can you give us an update on, as you were walking us through this, we'll all take a breath there. Maybe not. Okay. Go ahead, Ryan. See,
hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. We're just going to pull the plug there. Thank
Kelly,
you,
this
Ryan.
is all playing out in real time.
It sure
Passion is high.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of anger here, as you can see. So we're going to get control of this and come back to you when we can.
Fair enough, fair enough. And we recognize people are expressing their views, and we're there to cover it. You do that job. We'll move on with our audience. Thanks for your patience.
Okay. On one level, this was hilarious. Like, the fact that they broke away and then thought it was all clear and came back, and he came back and was still trolling them. I mean, look, I don't support this behavior. I don't think it's serious or credible. I think it's very trollish and immature. But it was comical to me. It was more interesting to me in the sense of how the newscaster really struggled to adapt or go with the flow, because you don't understand, like, unless you've been in these scenarios or you've been on TV, how scripted the news is and how little actual improvisation there is by these hosts, how most of the time they're just reading lines written for them by other people and they're essentially just faces and figureheads. And that kind of showed because this woman just could not adapt on the fly whatsoever without tripping over herself. And I really thought that was remarkable and that the whole thing was funny. I mean, in another sense, it was crude and kind of gross behavior. Like I will, and I don't really take Alex Stein seriously at all. But it was a little bit of media chaos and drama, and I always find that somewhat entertaining. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments and hit that like button while you're at it. All right, guys, that'll be it for today's episode of the Bread versus Everyone podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do make sure you're subscribed. If you aren't yet, hit that like button, yada, yada, yada. Remember, you can also tune into the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and also send in your voicemails for my Voicemail Friday episodes. And with that, guys, we'll talk again real soon.